Moving on to business matters. Home Depot says it won't raise prices from President Trump's tariffs. The home improvement giant is taking a different approach than that of Walmart and other retailers that plan to pass trade war-related costs on to consumers. Home Depot's finance chief told CNBC the company's scale and partnerships with suppliers make it able to generally hold current pricing levels. More than half of the retailer's products come from the U.S. Nippon Steel is still dedicated to acquiring a full stake in U.S. Steel. Vice Chairman Takahiro Mori says that only full ownership would allow Nippon Steel to share the core technology and strength of U.S. Steel. Mori says he's requested a meeting with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent to better understand President Trump's stance on the deal. The $15 billion merger was blocked by former President Biden over national security concerns. Tomorrow is the deadline for a renewed national security review by the Committee on Foreign Investment. Subaru says it has adjusted the sales price of vehicles sold in the U.S. to, quote, offset increased costs. In a statement Monday, the Japanese automaker said the price change is in response to current market conditions, but did not directly link the changes to tariffs. While Subaru did not confirm the exact dollar amount of its price changes, a Massachusetts Subaru dealership posted on its website that prices would rise as much as $2,000, depending on the vehicle model. Earlier this month, Ford told dealers it would raise the sticker price by $600 to $2,000 on 3 models it imports from Mexico. Next, there's good news for the projected 39.4 million Americans expected to hit the road this Memorial Day. Filling up for the trip is gonna be cheap. According to Gas Buddy, the average price of a gallon of gas is expected to be $3.08. That is the lowest price this time of year since 2021, and way lower than 3 years ago when it was $4.60. If you consider inflation, it's the cheapest gas has been since 2003, if you exclude the COVID-19 pandemic, that is. To a large degree, you can thank President Donald Trump. Trump has put pressure on OPEC to increase oil production. That's the cartel of oil-producing countries who, to a large degree, control the world's supply of oil and therefore its price. Honda announced a change in electric vehicle strategy today. The Japanese auto giant said it was scaling back investment in EVs due to slowing demand.
The automaker will instead focus on capturing growing demand for hybrids with new models. Honda CEO Toshihiro Mibe.
Regarding electric vehicles, based on the current market slowdown, we expect EV sales in 2030 to fall below the 30% that we previously targeted.
He further said Honda has lowered its planned investment in electrification and software through the 2030 business year to $48.4 billion. That's well down from the near $70 billion previously planned for.
By adjusting our business strategy firmly, we aim to achieve sales volume over 3.6 million vehicles by 2030, with hybrid cars at the core making up 2.2 million of those.
Honda further plans to launch 13 next-generation hybrid models globally in the 4 years from 2027. It also aims to develop a hybrid system for large-size models that it plans to launch in the second half of the decade.
Next, as trade talks between the world's 2 largest economies continue, General Motors is ending the journey for some of its vehicles from the United States to China. The company shared this announcement with employees and dealers for its Durant Guild import business in China. A spokesperson explained that imported vehicles through the Durant Guild accounted for less than 0.1% of the volume it sells in China. In a statement, GM said it was restructuring the Durant Guild and optimizing GM's China operations. It justified the move by citing significant changes to economic conditions. This comes as trade tensions between the U.S. and China have eased a bit. The 2 countries have agreed to lower levies by 115% for 90 days. But before that, China had imposed tariffs of more than 100% on goods from the U.S. Washington and Beijing are still negotiating tariffs on other trade issues. Round 2 for trade talks between Vietnam and the United States. In a statement, Vietnam's trade minister said the formal talks for a bilateral trade deal started on Monday and will continue until Wednesday. The U.S. has delayed imposing a 46% tariff on Vietnam until July. Instead, a 10% tariff was put in place. Vietnam's growth is heavily reliant on exports to the United States, which is its largest market. The ministry said that the two countries discussed an overall approach to resolving mutual issues. The world's richest man is committing to steer Tesla for another 5 years. Elon Musk also said he plans to significantly cut his political spending. Musk is trying to address concerns about balancing his role as CEO of Tesla and his involvement in the Trump administration. Stock for Tesla is down about 15% for the year. Musk said last year he was uncomfortable growing Tesla in the AI and robotics fields without more voting control. As for his political spending, Musk said he's going to do a lot less and that he thinks he's done enough. Musk shelled out more than $250 million to help President Donald Trump get elected. The Energy Department is ending the Biden-era pause on liquefied natural gas export permits. Officials say expanding LNG exports is in the public interest, boosting the economy, strengthening national security, and helping allies overseas. The Energy Department says the impact on gas prices and global emissions would be minimal, while projecting a $410 billion boost to GDP by 2050. The move fulfills a Trump campaign promise to unleash what he calls American energy dominance. A $5 billion wind farm project in New York has been revived by the Trump administration. Governor Kathy Hochul says it took countless conversations with the wind farm company and with White House officials. NTD's Sean Marshall has the details.
The New York government wanted it back, and the New York government got it. The $5 billion wind farm project is back on track. The renewable energy project off the coast of New York, named Empire Wind 1, has been revived now that the Trump administration has lifted a month-old stop work order. This comes after a compromise with the state. Interior Secretary Doug Bergman says he's encouraged that the New York Governor Kathy Hochul will now allow new gas pipeline capacity to move forward. The wind project is expected to one day provide power for 500,000 New York homes. Hochul said in a statement, "I want to thank President Trump for his willingness to work with me to save 1,500 good-paying union jobs that were on the line in helping get this essential project back on track." Equinor had warned it stood to lose billions of dollars due to the stop work order. It had sent shockwaves through the offshore wind industry, raising concerns that fully permitted developments representing billions in investment are not safe. The company says the project, which will use wind turbines, is currently 30% complete. Sean Marshall, NTD News.
Wynn Resorts says it's giving up on its efforts to build a casino resort in New York City. The Las Vegas-based company says it will not apply for a gaming license in the Big Apple. It blamed municipal delays for its decision. Wynn proposed a $12 billion skyscraper in the Hudson Yards area in the city's far west side. But in January, a Manhattan community board voted against a needed zoning change. Wynn says through this rezoning process, it's becoming clear there are better uses for its money. Wynn said its casino would have employed 5,000 people. Levi Strauss is looking to sell off Dockers, the brand known for khakis and men's business casual wear. The Wall Street Journal reports the iconic jeans company agreed to sell Dockers to Authentic Brands Group. Authentic is a global brand development and licensing platform. The purchase price would start at $311 million, but could go up to $391 million based on business performance under the new ownership. Levi Strauss says it wants to focus on its direct-to-consumer approach and grow its international presence. Delta has been cleared for a lawsuit against CrowdStrike over a massive outage that caused thousands of canceled flights. A Georgia judge said Delta can try to prove CrowdStrike was grossly negligent in pushing a defective update that crashed millions of Microsoft Windows-based computers worldwide. Delta has said the outage cost more than $500 million in lost revenue and added expenses. CrowdStrike's lawyer said he was confident the judge will find Delta's case has no merit or will limit damages. 2 weeks ago, a federal judge said Delta must face a proposed class action by passengers. According to Census Bureau data, the population rose in most big U.S. cities last year. reversing pandemic-era population declines. New York, Houston, and Los Angeles added the most people. Data shows 94% of the biggest cities grew during the 12-month period ending in June of last year. That as the nation's total population increased by 1%. That's the biggest annual increase in almost 25 years. Experts believe the urban expansion was driven mostly by immigration. Airbnb doesn't want summer holiday extravaganzas on its properties. The vacation rental business is putting in place what it calls anti-party technology on its real estate listings. Airbnb says those defenses block certain bookings for Memorial Day and July 4th weekends. The aim, to lessen the risk of disruptive get-togethers and potential damage. Airbnb unveiled its global party ban policy in 2020 and says party reports it received were cut in half. The company says this is part of a broader set of policies that will help hosts safeguard their properties. Next, time for your market recap. All three major U.S. indexes finished in the red today. NASDAQ down 4.4%, S&P down 0.4%, and the Dow lost 0.3%. The S&P 500 broke its 6-day winning streak.